Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress is this year's Women's Day theme. And as we talk to various women across the country as we commemorate International Women's Day on the 8th of March, I have the privilege to talk to one of the people that have actually inspired me, both in my career and personally, and also one of the people that owns a glamorous beauty spa in Ndola, that is Eunike Phiri. Eunike, thank you so much for joining us on this interview.
Thank you so much for having me, Christina. You know how I feel about social media, so to get me only for you.
Literally had to drag her to this seat.
Pleasure to be here.
Of all the times that I've actually spent with you, I've heard you say things like Bloom is your baby.
Yeah.
Tell us about how this baby was birthed. You know, parents out there have got so many myths about how the baby came home.
Yeah.
But what's your story when it comes to Bloom?
Well, it's unlike the way a baby is born with blood, sweat, and tears, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to say 6 years in, it's been a joy looking back. It's been a joy to see, where we are now. To look at the journey and see so many lessons, to look at myself and see how much I have grown with it. Bloom was started in 2018, although the idea came to life in 2017. And it was out of frustration and also out of a partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, so the frustration part was me visiting my parents here in Ndola, when I used to live in Lusaka, and not having a place to do my nails in a place where I, satisfactory how I wanted. And then when I was between jobs, I decided to leave corporate work.
And what were you doing as a corporate?
I was a banker before this.
Yeah.
Up to 2017.
Yeah.
I had worked about 13 years in retail banking.
Wow.
Yes. And then decided to quit because I thought, I wanted to be the boss.
Wanted to wake up at your own time.
Yeah,
Call the shots
I
when you
wanted
want.
to be a director. And
Yeah.
I think I was so many levels away from it. It wasn't happening as fast as I wanted. I had so many ideas. And also I wanted to start preparing for my retirement. And I thought starting a business would help me do that. Even if I ended up going back to a corporate job, I would still have the side hustle to prepare for that. So I started Bloom out of a partnership. I was meant to just incubate the business for somebody else who would have run it.
Yeah.
And then they were satisfying a need I'd seen in the community. We'd gone around, we'd done a business plan, kitted it, found location, and created a vision around what that would be. Unfortunately, the partnership fell through, and I was left with the baby in my hands, literally. And I'd fallen in love with it already. So all I had to do was to start raising it.
Exactly.
And that's how you find me. So if you find me 6 years in, we were at Ndola Square Mall, Shopping Mall, as most people call it. We were there for 2 years. And unfortunately, how business was going, the location, a combination of factors meant that we couldn't afford to be at the mall anymore. And we decided to move to a more affordable location.
Yeah.
And I'd say, looking back now, I feel that it was divine because within a month of us moving, COVID actually hit, and businesses, like whole industries, were being shut down to keep people safe.
Yeah.
When it was during the pandemic. We are fortunate that beauty industry, spas, barbershops were not closed during that time. But of course, people stayed away, themselves safe. But it also meant that if our business had been in a location where we couldn't afford the rentals, surely, I look back now and I know for sure if we had stayed at that location, we wouldn't be where we are today. So some of the learnings, lots of ups and downs.
Yeah.
The baby is no longer under 5. We've gone through our vaccinations, our injections, and we're on the other
You've got rid
side.
of the crying.
Different issues now because it's like we've gone into grade 1.
Yeah.
We've gone to primary school now, and it has its own challenges. But we are already having gone through the first 5 years.
And that's exactly what I was going to get to. I'm like, most businesses run down in the first few years. How do you think you've been able to stay relevant throughout this period?
Oh gosh, it's perhaps always going back to what the vision was to start with, and to be quick to change. I think coming into this is very easy to, and as in any business, we come to it with a copy mentality. What's the neighbor doing? I can make money with this. There are how many other businesses in my sector, and your whole, even your price list will be what your competitor is doing. But for me, it's going back to my formal training. I'm classically trained as an accountant. I have a degree in accounting and a master's in global business strategy. So going back to that training, formal training, and costing each and every service and saying, what does it cost me to do a massage? What does it cost me to do wash and set? All the products, the time, the electricity, everything that goes into it, and then justifying the price I will charge you. So for me, it went back to being profitable at a basic level, being profitable for every service that we offer, no matter how that related to the neighbor. So sometimes you find our prices were lower or they were higher, but because of the inputs that went to it, in my mind, we justified it. And also looking at the quality we were able to offer. So on quality, I was deliberate to come to this with a vision that I will provide a higher quality. It didn't quite work out because as much as I knew what the quality I wanted was, there was no one in the industry training beauticians, hairdressers, barbermen to work at the standard I wanted. So you would try to poach from other salons, which I don't do anymore.
You used to, but
did it the first time, and I realized it was one of the biggest mistakes you can make in starting out in any business.
Because they bring their ideologies into your...
Oh, well, there's that, but also I find loyal people don't move easily. The cream of your business won't move easily. They are loyal for a reason, and what you're getting, no offense to anybody who moves easily, but what you're getting is probably the problematic staff who already were about to either be fired, they have issues, so they are looking for the next gig before, So in terms of, so the quality side for me was a struggle. I think we had a great aesthetic, but the quality of the services, even I knew that in the beginning that it wasn't where I wanted it to be. So training was a game changer for me. Getting local training, the few trainers that were available got us to the next level. But when I decided, to get myself trained as a beautician, that was a game changer for my business. I found that even the people I worked with respected, where I was coming from. When I said this is how I wanted it delivered, they could see me do it and also follow through. So the training then trickled from myself to the staff that I had, and ever since it's been it's for me, training has helped to grow us to where we are today. So much so that 3 years ago, I started offering training under Bloom Beauty School. Again, because there was a need that I saw. There was no one that was offering these services. We do have cosmetology being offered in 2 trade schools in Zambia. Unfortunately, they are not at the level that the industry is at now. We've gone years ahead, but this syllabus that's still being offered, it's very bare minimum for where our clients expect us to be. So I now provide that training under Bloom Beauty School, focusing on beauty therapies and giving students, graduates, and businesses who would employ those a world-class standard, so that whatever you experience at Bloom or what you learn at Bloom Beauty School is something you're going to get whether you're in Zambia or anywhere else in the world.
These days, with social media, people have accelerated the amount of information that they actually receive. It's that I'm looking at something and I'm like, why don't we have this in Zambia? Remember the era when we had weaves and would look at people's hair in movies and think, yet it was just the standard at which they used to do all those things. But now we're actually seeing people
how to
getting
melt wigs.
Exactly my point. Now, you've spoken about you being in beauty, but the jump, come on, from retail accounting to beauty, I think sometimes people, first of all, we'll talk about people thinking that it's very easy to get into beauty. Like, become a beautician. What would you say about people with that narrative in their heads when it comes to the beauty industry and it just being one of the easy industries that you can actually get into if something fails? Then also, what would you say about people with dreams about starting their own businesses, but they're thinking, how do I leave banking? Oh, the money that is in there. How would you encourage someone who's actually looking at things that way?
Okay. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest challenges I've faced, because from my background, people who know me, my family members, and knowing the level of education I went to for me to quit that, sounded, for me to quit it, they thought I must have had a case to answer for.
At work.
In banking, I was running away.
Before it came
There's
to
that.
life.
And then the second thing is, most people think it's a career for those who didn't do well academically. Yes. But then I want to celebrate the heroes in beauty in Zambia who have served us just on their talent. We have amazing talent where, you know, we all know that lady who did our hair when we were growing up, Vana, so and so for you.
Can I interrupt you? Do you know that from their education, they managed to preserve our hairlines compared to what people are doing to them right now.
Yeah.
So it is actually great to actually give them
we
applause.
grew our hair.
Yeah.
Our hair was healthy. You look back and you had your ponytail, your puffy puff. Yes, your afro puff.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm celebrating those heroes, because it's from those, the natural talent, God-given talent, that now those people ended up working in salons and spas, and then you started building up on their experience and education and exposure by showing them a video, and they're the kind of people who would see and do. Yeah, without the education side. So here comes me with my background, and I'm saying see and do, but then I also want you to have great customer service to go with that. I want you to have an amazing finish. Let's have repeat business. How do we, enroll these clients on our database and so on. So the unsung heroes are the people who've kept the beauty industry in Zambia going without an education structure. Now, for all those who are thinking, well, this is something those who didn't do well, what they go into when you didn't do well at school. Well, for me, I believe there's enough business for everybody. There's a vision that you can do beauty wherever you are, whatever your budget, whatever your vision. So my vision is nowhere even near where the ultimate vision for Bloom, for myself. I'm still working on it. But there's a smaller vision and your vision, and you can have people you look up to that you're going to grow to, but where you are, there's a place that you can start. Of course, training is key, knowing what you're doing, how to entice clients. There are key life skills that will cut across whether you're selling tomatoes, you're in a booth. Those key skills, customer service, meet and greet, doing the actual work, being kind, being responsive when they complain. All of those are life skills you can bring to beauty, but they will certainly help even when you're selling me tomatoes. So for anyone who's thinking this is only for those who haven't done well, there's a place for it. We also have to, maybe let me talk about the challenges more. There are two other challenges I've had here, like running this business or growing this business. Number two is changing Zambian mindsets. Changing Zambian mindsets around self-care.
Okay.
Yeah, as a stress management option or alternative. We don't have, the only alternative we have to that is alcohol. And socializing, which is great, it feeds, but then there's a place where self-care comes in that drinking won't do. And then done in excess, we've also seen the repercussions of alcohol. Okay, so coming to the spa services, massages, facial skincare, sitting down, having your feet in water. We calm you down, we scrub you, we give you a massage after. There's such a benefit that comes from you spending that $250, $300 that calms your nerves, helps you sleep, helps you to rejuvenate and get ready for the next day. You would have been overwhelmed, whether from work, family pressures, emotional health, whatever, breakups and all that. But that one treatment for under 300 kwacha, the same amount you spend on alcohol, would actually do more to
help you figure out what to do,
Yeah.
calm you down, and get you ready to fight, another day. So changing that mindset that this is not a luxury, but it's a necessity. And I hope that in my mind, the vision is it also meets my pricing to
Yes.
remain competitive, but also because there's a self-care aspect I want to encourage. I don't want it to be out of reach for too many
Yeah.
people. So even if you need that massage that one day, even if it's half your body, know that you can find something that's affordable. That will be at a great quality at Bloom. Then the other challenge is finding the people to work in such
Industries.
in the industry. So this is where, again, meeting a need in the community. I'm trying to prepare those individuals, even if it's not for my business, for
Yeah.
other businesses, even if it's not for businesses, for individuals themselves to be able to provide this without people just looking down at us as beauticians. Because I'm a beautician,
Yeah.
looking down at us as beauticians and thinking, it's for why are you in this space? You passed your exams. Why aren't you out there being a banker or an accountant?
Yeah.
Well, there's also money to be made. But for me, this is a passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do this. I mean, even if the money wasn't all there, but the impact that we're having, and I can see the impact that we have. So that's the part where I'm saying, even if you think that that's it, come and experience it. On the business side, I can talk more about it when you come to the business school. I prepare you whether you're an employee in a spa or whether you want to run this as a business.
We have the opportunity to kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
You've been in the banking industry for years. You're in the beauty industry now
Too
for
long
some
ago.
time
Lifetime ago.
as well. So now that we have the opportunity to actually talk to you and we're celebrating women, how easy or difficult is it for women in the banking sector, looking back from where you're coming from?
I don't know how it is now.
But back then. yeah.
Probably what I can celebrate is seeing, for being now on the outside,
Yeah.
is seeing so many women in so many roles.
Now,
And
yeah.
then seeing, I think the statistics now are more skewed at senior levels.
Yeah.
You are seeing women being represented in the boardroom. So that I've fallen in love with.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's probably why I ran away, because I thought, it would take some time for me to get there to the boardroom. And I thought, let me go and create my own board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great to see there's so many bank CEOs now.
Yes.
Yeah. So and heroes to follow behind, to be inspired. So it's an inspiring time for all the women that are making it into the boardroom. We have such great representation at board level across all industry, I think. Yeah.
Now, you've spoken about so many women that are in the boardroom now, but throughout your entire journey, have you had any particular mentors that you feel, if it hadn't been maybe for their mentorship, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today? Could be both in the banking industry or the beauty industry.
I'm very blessed and privileged to have a lot of mentors from across all factors of life.
Yeah.
And if I had to give the most credit, it's probably from family. My mentors are drawn from family. I've had great bosses who have changed the trajectory of my thinking. At the time it came off, I didn't appreciate it. I was too young, unexposed, immature.
Yeah.
And I look back now and see that they were trying to build me. I've gone through situations that built my personality. So some of the mentors, it's like I would probably kiss my teeth at them and do a but then coming out the other side, I'm better for it because I went through the lesson. So there have been many mentors, family. My parents, all my toughest decisions go through them. My parents, my mother and father, George and Phoebe. My granny is teaching me how to support other people.
Okay.
Yeah, which is, from a non-business organization perspective. Yeah. So it's sometimes it's that I call it, my sisters and I call it combined wisdom. There's a combo wisdom you can come to that I won't necessarily have in the
Yeah.
city, that she would just think of it like that, and it's a solution that works.
Yeah.
Without, and I'm shocked.
But
So
this
sometimes
actually
now
works,
I'm
yeah.
running my decisions, over my, to my grandma. Yeah. So lots of mentors, like even from like church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, and I won't mention them. They know themselves. My mentors are even from my current team. They don't know it, but
Yeah.
there's a way that one of my staff members would deal with one particular client. That client that even I'm like, Abavena,
I can't handle
you
this.
know what? But the grace that
Yeah.
staff member, team member has to deal with, I have great respect for, and I am learning. So in that way, I am mentored by so many people with so many experience I come across.
This might catch you a bit off guard. I know.
Christina.
I know you've mentioned your dad, your mom,
Yeah.
your sisters.
Yes.
But I've not heard Mr. Nobody. So I'm looking at you and
You're not
thinking,
putting my business up there, Christina.
is there anyone that you probably go back home to support your wins with? I'm just asking.
Okay. No.
Okay.
No. I've been in relationships before.
Yeah.
It's
Never been married before, not divorced, not.
No, I've been single. I don't have children.
Okay.
I am single.
Because that's single, by the way.
Careful.
In case anyone's watching this, she's single.
Okay, so dating is hard as a businesswoman. It's hard.
Is it the time? Is it?
I wouldn't say it's the time, because if it's important, we all make time
for it.
Yeah. I think for the right person, the time would be there. Yeah, it's just it's hard because it's we've been there. The intentions people come with, you can see it a mile off, and I have the gift of age and lots of experience that I'm very discerning, and because I know myself now, and I know myself, and I think I am enough. I'm not in sort of feeling inadequate or like I'm waiting, or I try and live my life to the fullest. I treat myself really well. I do self-care. If I'm the queen of self-care, if anything lately, it's been that I'm a workaholic. Not having that active personal social life has driven me to throw myself into my work. So I'm a workaholic. That one I'll stand up and say. But if the opportunity arises for a happy, fulfilling, loving, caring relationship, I am open. I am open to that.
How easy or difficult has this been over the years, having seen different women of probably even your same age group evolve from being friends to being fiancés, mothers, wives?
It's their journey.
How has that transition been? And if you're looking at someone right now that's looking and saying, how do you do it? Because there's so many questions out there on, maybe I can't do this alone, there's this that's happening. How do you do it?
So in my 20s and 30s, I would say I was probably bothered by it. Yeah, but I think past 35, I'm 45 now. Past that, I've been on my own journey. Even just the breaking away from being in employment to starting the business, I had to separate myself, because being with people who had an employee mindset was in conflict for where I wanted to be. So I quickly had to learn who I am, what I want, and if it's anything that doesn't fit into that, then we stayed away from it. So I also, like, even running businesses, I would see another person doing my vision of the business and recognize their journey, and there'll be things I'll look up to and say, oh wow, wouldn't it be nice if we could do that as well? Oh, what would it take? I look at it on a business perspective, but some things I look at and I think, I'm not going into that. I'll tell you for free, I'm not going into suction treatments.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not into that,
Yeah.
and it doesn't speak to my vision. So there are things I've let go. But then on a personal level, knowing myself now, I just know what is for me, what isn't for me, and I also say, this is Christina. Wow, I'm ready to applaud you for where you are in your journey. And if you're having a baby, we're celebrating that. If
Yeah.
you're getting married and there's new love, I'm there with you. If you also need me to hold your hand during those tough times,
Yeah.
you're in between jobs trying to figure out what you're going to do next, I'm also your girl. So it's just meeting everybody at their journey, and also recognizing my journey is mine, and I'm not in competition with anyone. And the sooner I cooperate rather than compete, the better.
Final question. Invest in women, accelerate progress.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Okay. So invest in women, I'm all for it. But then you know this. For Women's Day, yes, invest in women.
Yes.
But then I'm probably one of those, let me play devil's advocate.
Okay. It's
Yeah?
important to have different perspectives.
Yes, it's a theme, and it's going to drive programs and to be done to encourage and uplift women. But I always wonder, every time we do something for the one side, what happens to the other side? So we may uplift women. Aren't we running the risk of making resentful men who are passed over for opportunities because somebody got it just because they were a woman? So I want a world where we are uplifting everybody by merit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to get anywhere and say I got this because I worked hard, I deserved it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think we are, on the other hand, also creating an entitlement mentality with women.
Because I'm female.
Because I'm female. And then the guys on the other side, you've empowered them so much, the women so much, that the guys don't know how to handle an empowered, uplifted, invested in woman. So if you can demonstrate a balance where on this one side that you are uplifting women, that you are doing the same to prepare the women, the men to hold their hand, to support and meet and partner with this empowered, strong woman, I'm all for it. But if it's one-sided for me, it's cringy for me. I'm sorry.
When it's all said and done, what would you like people to remember Eunike for?
Best service, best learning, best experience. So whether you had a touch point with Bloom, and let me take you back to Bloom. The origin, Bloom actually means to flower, to come to flower. Okay. Yeah. So it's for anyone who has a touch point with me. Never mind my business. I would like you to feel that I made you feel special. I made you feel like a special flower. I saw you. Yeah. Whether we had a chat, we just shared in Shima, I'm your girl. Yeah. So it's for anybody. It's that I had a positive impact by the few minutes, few hours, days, years that you knew me. Yeah, and there's something that you learned from me, you took away from me. That's what I would like to be. So I hope that Bloom is fulfilling the experience side, because you can experience what my vision is for beauty and self-care is. And then on the learning side, the Bloom Beauty School, you can experience it from, even if you didn't come for training, you experienced it because the person I trained was able to give you a blooming experience. Yeah. So whatever your experience with me, whether it's at book club, wherever we meet, touch point, yoga, let it be that it was a blooming experience. That's what I would like to be remembered for.
Eunike, thank you so much for talking to us, and happy Women's Day.
Thank you for having me, Christina, and happy Women's Day to everyone.